Dr. Steve Pachenik, and this is Steve Talks. Hi, I'm Dr. Pachenik. Last night I met with a social worker who works in the school systems of Clay County and Bradford County, and what she had to say to me was very, very sad. While we're focusing our attention on the false flag of Parkland, the more serious problem in Florida and all over the United States is the fact that most of our high school seniors and juniors are not doing very well. She talked about poverty, she talked about starvation, the fact that there was no food, the fact that there were no parents in the home, and the fact that the education level is very low. Some numbers will tell you exactly what's happening in Florida in relation to the graduation from high school. 40% of African Americans do not go on to college, and 60% barely graduate high school. 60% of Hispanics in Florida barely graduate high school, so 40% do not go further. We have a rate of almost 20% where our children have no parents, another 20% where they have no food, and we have to provide the food there. So when you're thinking about gun control, which is not as relevant in this state as it is the poor quality of education, the absence of parents, the absence of food, the absence of an education system that's really effective, then you better think twice about what we really need in this state. Unfortunately, Congressman Yoho doesn't think about it, Senator Rubio doesn't think about it, Senator Nelson doesn't think about it, and certainly our governor, Scott, who is a total fool, doesn't think about it, and he's not going to make it to the Senate. But let me tell you about people who are brave enough to work in this system. A woman who was able to defy a superintendent, and she was the chief of the English class, or as we call it, the advanced placement class, and her name is Lindsay Whittingham. She stood up and said, you cannot take away a book from our classes, and that it's unconstitutional. She then went and formed with fame a group of other women and other teachers in the high school, a movement to stop the censorships of books in our libraries. There is no cause and no reason to have censorship in the Florida libraries or any libraries. We have to give our children the right to read whatever they should read and whatever is important. At the same time, I want to talk about another young man who I think deserves to be in Congress. Again, this is an individual who served our country, was a captain in the Marines, served our country right after 9/11, and his name is Dan McCready. He is running for Congress. He's a Democrat, although I've talked about Republicans last week or 2 weeks ago. I'm now talking about a young Democrat who deserves to be elected to Congress. I've known him when he was a young man before he went into Iraq. I've known him as a man of integrity and as a man who basically believes that the right way to serve your country is to first serve it in the military, give your life if necessary, but he was in charge of 65 soldiers. He went from lieutenant to captain, then went on to get his MBA at Harvard. But more importantly, on his own, he developed a company, a group of solar panels and a group of solar farms that became an integral part of North Carolina's power system. At the same time, he built an internet company that was exceedingly important. Now he decided, like the men I've been talking about, as in the Republican Party, he decided to run for Congress in the Democratic Party. I don't know his appointment. I'm sure he's a nice person, but I'm certainly behind Dan McCready, who's running in the 9th District as a Democrat in North Carolina. Let me end with a saying. Although we have all these problems in America, the young people, these millennials, are coming forth in droves to really come and say, we want to be part of our democracy, and we want to be able to have an input in that democracy more than just protesting in the streets. That means you get involved, you get committed, and you fight for what you want. Confucius said that although we may have a very long road to progress, the most important thing is to continue walking that road and not to stop. With those words, I said good night and good luck. Hi, this is Dr. Steve Pachenik, and this is Steve Talks.